St Helens, of course, Thursday night, short turnaround. Saints in good form.
Yeah.
You in good form. What do you make of it?
Yeah, it'll be a cracker of a game. We only trained today as our first session in. Obviously, after a real difficult Saturday afternoon, hot day against KR, and a really strong performance there. But I think focus has been about around our recovery. So we've only had the captain's run session today to train, but it'll be enough if our attitude's right. I think the games are 50-50 really. So we've got to make sure that we give our best performance. I think I've been quite critical with us and having an inconsistency during the season, but certainly the last 2 weeks have been a lot better.
And what about St Helens? They've won. Is it the last five they've won?
I think. Yeah, they're on a roll as well. They've played with changes, ins and outs of players there, and they've done a pretty good job to get to where they are, and they've snuck up into that top 3, top 4 area without notice. So these are the games that are really important to both teams in regards to the ladder and where it could potentially finish up.
And when you look at the Saints side, where do you see their key threats then, Adrian?
Well, they've got still a majority of the bulk of the side that was successful not long ago, and a lot of experience there. So they've got one of the strongest, fittest, most aggressive forward packs in the competition, and that's probably where their strength is at the moment. So it'll be a handful for us, but I think we've taken each challenge and grown with each one over the season with the top 4, top 6 clubs. So no different to tomorrow night.
Obviously, St Helens as a side over history with Lee, they've always had a huge rivalry. Will you be taking a look at that rivalry in your build up to try and motivate your players?
No, it's more about this part of the season and what we've done to become here, as part of our journey, and how hard we've worked to be here. And we don't want to just collapse that overnight. So it's more about our own performance and looking within. Having said that, they are probably the informed team of the competition at the moment with 5 in a row. I'm not sure if anyone else has done that, but it's away at their ground as well. They've been defending really tough and keeping oppositions to low scores. So I think that'll be no change again tomorrow night.
So what about your own form then? 2 superb wins, Wigan and Hull KR, but you're going away. How do you work to maintain that momentum? And is there improvement in your side?
Yeah.
Has there got to be improvement?
Yeah, both. I feel that the last 2 weeks has probably been our most impressive performances, but I still think there's 2 or 3 levels to go up, and we're all working really hard on that. Like I said, we've all acknowledged what we need to get better at, and we're slowly growing in that area. I feel that we've got a forward pack that could potentially rival theirs and take that on head on. I think that's where the battle's going to be, and looking forward to that. And also, I think in regards to the local derby, it's another one there that it'd be pretty close to a sellout and great for rugby league. So in that sense of the sport and the game, there'll be plenty exposure around 2 of the top 4 teams playing against each other.
So last week you were unchanged, possibly for the first time of the season. Are you unchanged this week, or has Ethan O'Neill failed fitness test?
Yeah, we're going to err on the side of caution with Ethan. He could potentially play, but we'll make that decision on probably tomorrow morning. But I'm leaning towards him not playing at the moment. That's highly likely. So we'll see how that unfolds in the next 24 hours. But apart from that, if Ethan's out, we'll bring in Andy Badrock, who's a local junior, who's played a handful of games for us this year and done a pretty good job. So if that's the case, I'm pretty excited to watch him develop and take that opportunity.
So what about Josh Charnley? How do you view Josh? I mean, he's come back the last 2 weeks and played a considerable part in the 2 victories. What's the situation with Josh? Are you talking to him about staying?
I think in regards to Josh, he was the last 2 weeks has certainly been his best weeks of footy this year, or rugby this year, and scoring tries, which is what the wingers are meant to do. So, he's been a part of those victories as well, along with everybody else. Played a big part, and hopefully he gets another couple of tries tomorrow night.
Are you after him staying this season, or is that something you've not discussed yet?
No, it's ongoing, the discussions. I think Josh put out a statement during the week with support of the club, and we've moved forward in all different areas. He's playing some good rugby at the moment, and obviously he's a really important part of the team and a fan's favourite.
Sorry to ask you this one last one. Would you like him to stay, Lammy?
Trev, at this moment in time, we're under obviously conversations about his future here, and when and if there's a time to announce that to the media, we'll let you know as soon as we know.
Fair enough. I'll
Thanks,
go with
Trev.
that one. Thanks,
No worries,
Lammy.
mate. You've asked the question of the other guys there anyway, mate. So it's an easy one.
All right, mate.
Thanks, Trev. Let's go, boys. Who else is there? Benny, fire away.
Yeah, hi, Lammy, all right.
Good, thanks.
I guess just one then on the whole Josh Charnley sort of saga. How does that affect the player, you as a team? It can't be helpful with all the speculation around him at the moment.
Yeah, look, I've got a squad of 30 players, Ben. I think, as I mentioned, Josh has put out a statement. I think 2 days ago or yesterday, whatever it was, and I don't want to talk too much more about that apart from the game. That's probably our biggest game of the season tomorrow night. I don't want that to be a talking point. We're underway with that, and whether that's a positive outcome or not, that'll decide that in the future. But all I know, mate, is that he's playing some good rugby, scored 250 tries, some great assists there of Lachie Lam, and 251 tries, and some great assists there of Lachie Lam, who's leading the try-scoring assistants on that side. So hopefully we can get a few more of those tomorrow night for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think going into tomorrow night, all the, you mentioned Saints are in form, but you're certainly in form. It is shaping up to be a massive clash, isn't it? A big game of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be close, no doubt about it. And I think both teams are in some really good form, and it's going to come down to the bounce of the balls and some really good moments, some really big moments. So we're preparing ourselves to be a part of all of that. We're going to make sure that we work really hard on our effort areas and make sure we take our opportunities. And if we do that, then we should win most of those moments, which should help towards what we deserve, the rewards at the end.
And I know you obviously like to talk to the guys about, ticking off little milestones. You talked about that on Saturday. You've had Saints' number quite a bit since you've come back to Super League, but not in their own backyard yet. That's sort of another milestone that could be ticked off here.
Yeah, I think there's a stat there that I heard at the start of the week about us not winning at Saints, and I'll confirm what that is, but I think it's big numbers. It's over 40 years since we've won there, or even maybe more. But I'll find that out for you before the end of this interview. 1982. There you go. How quick's that? That was on my AI chat guy over here. 1982 since we've beaten St Helens at St Helens. So what does that make it? 92, 2002, 12. So it's nearly 43 years. 43 years. What did I say? 43?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that in itself is a goal there, isn't it? You've ticked off so many of those already this season. Winning at Wigan, beating Wigan at home again. It's another goal for the squad to aim for.
Yeah, I mean that's the last thing on my mind, to be honest with you. For me, it's about every tackle of every set, every minute for the 80 minutes. If we can keep working hard on that, I think we've changed a lot of the things that we weren't doing right. I think we're close to being really, really strong, but we've got to back our 2 wins up with a consistent performance. So if we go there and we play our best rugby and we get beaten, I'll be okay with that. I don't want to go there as a group, take a step back, get beaten by 4 or 6 planets, and we play, at a 50% of what we've been doing. So that's the challenge.
And just before I pass you on, then, I don't know if you've seen Willie Peters' comments on Edwin's tackle on Danny Richardson. Willie's been left unhappy with, I think, the disciplinary panel not taking any action. Have you any comment on that?
No, I've got nothing to say about that. Not interested.
No problem at all. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, mate.
Hi, Lammy, how are you?
Well, good, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. I just want to touch on Mila Hanley, and I mean, the improvement in him over the last year, 18 months, has been phenomenal. What do you put that down to?
Look, when I was coaching at Wigan, I gave him debut there as well, because I saw something in him, which I thought was. I get a feeling about some players, and there's a bit of something there sometimes that no one really sees, and I could see that in him as a player there. And when I left there, they obviously didn't keep him on, not thinking that he could be someone or something, and so I brought him here after that, and have given him that opportunity to flourish. And I think the competitiveness that's in him, he's as competitive as any player in the competition. He wants to win every single challenge and beyond, and on top of that, very popular member of the group. He works hard at training. In the last 2 pre-seasons, he's given his absolute all, and for me, I've seen someone that wants to be successful as a professional rugby league player. And if you've got those players doing that, then there's hope there, But off the back of that, he's had to build his game bit by bit on the field in the 80-minute period. And he's still working hard on all of that, He's still got a bit to go, but, just the way that he's been playing and the levels that he's taken our team single-handedly to have been impressive, And I'm sure, no doubt, in the next short time that he'll be identified with representative duties as well. I think he's not far off that, and I think he deserves it, because he's a consistent player that does what he's asked to do every single week.
Yeah, you sort of preempted my next question. Do you think there's still plenty of room to grow with him?
Yeah, absolutely, and that comes with maturity. Like I've seen him. The best part about coaching rugby league is bringing a young player through and watching him develop to another level. And then when you think that he's doing well, those players go 1 and 2 and 3 more levels more than what you expected, and that's where he's at the moment. So I've loved his journey. It's been an incredible story, and one that I'm really proud of and happy to be involved with. And he scored us an individual try last week against the best team in the competition, and things like those moments are what's setting him aside from others. We've still got some D stuff to do with just decision making and identifying certain threats and how we handle that, but he's certainly on an upward trajectory with both sides of his game, and I'm really pleased for him.